The humidity is back. I had my jacket on this morning. Stepped out on the porch with my jacket, went right back in. The humidity is back. What's up, Dario? Yo. My first UK friend, Dario. Seems almost like you were just waiting to jump in this broadcast today. Good morning, Annette. Good morning, Nick. Hi, Danielle. Oh, you were? That's nice of you. I wasn't thinking about anything. Oh, actually, I was thinking about my favorite movie, and I'm gonna mention my favorite movie today. It's not Star Wars or anything like that, Daryl. Sorry. Which reminds me, I haven't even seen what movies are in the theater. The Foreigner with Jackie Chan looked interesting. Yes, you are. I have lots of UK friends now, but Dario was the original. He was one of my original UK buddies. Smarter than me. He's much smarter than me. Sassier, too. Don't ask him a question that you can just Google, because he'll let you know that shit. Good morning, Nick. Blade Runner? No, I don't know anything about Blade Running. The Foreigner with Jackie Chan looked good. The Matrix is one of my favorite movies, but because it's become so popularized in terms of spirituality, I've kind of backed up from The Matrix. When I see these memes of red pill or blue pill, I sort of just tune out to that kind of thing. This coffee is so good. I was enjoying the contrast with my coffee. Hi, Barbara. The cold air with the warm coffee, but no, that's over. It's muggy out here once again. Wing Chung's in the house with Trinity. I hope you're training. Stay trained up. Every day. So, once again, this is a topic that has come to me. Whenever similar questions are brought to me or I see similar things, I know that that's a sign that this is something that I can talk about. So first I'll talk about my favorite movie. So my favorite movie is Phenomenon with John Travolta. And there's a couple people who know me pretty well, and they know that's been my favorite movie for a long time. So no spoilers, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So on his birthday, it's I can't remember the character's name. I don't remember his name in the movie, but it's John Travolta. And after his birthday party, good morning, hi Monique, good morning Lisa. After his birthday, he was drinking and he's just kind of walking through the streets, and he gets hit by a light. Topics sort of just come to me, Danielle. I don't ever really start my day or anything with a predetermined idea. I don't really do too much predetermined. Stuff kind of just flows the way it flows. Yeah, yeah. So in this movie, he's looking up at the sky and he sees this light, and then the light hits him and knocks him off of his feet. And from that point, he doesn't sleep anymore. And his mind starts to get super, super smart. Like he can take in information at phenomenal rates. And he's just taking in information, taking in information, taking in information. I am still at Aunt Mary's house, Mom. So that's the house behind me. I'm still out on their porch. I leave on Monday and I'll be back in town. Monday and Tuesday. Oh, which reminds me, no Facebook Live, no classes or anything. I won't be doing the segments in Warrior in the Garden group on Monday and Tuesday, but I will resume on Wednesday. So I'm taking 2 days off to travel, and then later that week we're headed back to Colorado. Coffee time with Ernest must go on. So in this movie, John Travolta's character gets hit by light, and he just gets really, really smart. So he starts reading all of these books. He starts exceeding like anything that you could possibly imagine. He learns the entire Portuguese language in just a couple of hours reading a book on the way to a farm. But there's something else about this movie. So if you guys watch it, there's something else about this movie that is just so beautiful to me. It's what he notices beyond his knowledge, beyond the information that he accumulates. He starts to notice something about the world and about how he interacts with it and how the world interacts with him. And he starts to realize that there's much, much more to the human experience besides just accumulating knowledge. Like, that's very important, right? But that there's so much more to this human experience on the level of feeling, of love, connecting with another human being. Topic. I'm not sure what you mean, Danielle. The topic is just something I'm going to talk about. And a belief is what we keep thinking. Interesting thought. A belief, yes. A belief is a part of my ego. It's a part of the illusion. However, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have power to me. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have validity in my experience. So a belief, although I'm like bamboo, I bend but I don't break, I still have my beliefs. I just don't cling to them. I don't attach to them. I don't allow them to create any type of tension to where I would argue with another person about a belief. But I tend to my garden, and in my garden are these little beliefs. Yep, that's the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta. So there's all of these other aspects of life that he really tunes into, you know, beyond just all of the reading, beyond all of the science stuff, and he starts taking farming to a whole new level, and he takes solar panels to a whole new level because he becomes like, you know, genius level intelligent. But no matter what, even with that genius level intelligence, he still yearned for the same things that on a very basic level we seem to yearn for, and that's quality in this life. You know, all of that information, all of these scientific discoveries, there was still that one thing missing, that underlining thing that every single person watching this wants. It is our underlining base desire. And guess what? Soon, I know that I'm going to start seeing this in other places, and that's okay. You know, that's really important to get this message out there. Even if it's not me saying it, because I didn't invent this shit. You know, I can't patent pen this. Quality. It's this underlining aspect of the human condition that every single one of us are fundamentally seeking. Connection. We bring out the quality in life through connection. So this connection is very deep, but what about this word quality? When you buy a car, you want it to be quality. When you have any type of interaction with a lover, you want it to be quality. When you hang out with your parents or your family, you want that interaction to be a quality experience, something that is adding to the quality of your life experience, right? We wouldn't do anything if we weren't fundamentally seeking that underlining quality. It underlines every single thing that we do. Everything. Coffee. I want my coffee to be quality. If it's not, I'm going to spit it out or I'm not going to drink it. Well, I might not spit it out. That would be rude. This isn't my porch. Connection is a way that we achieve quality. When we connect to ourselves, when we connect to our life as it's happening, that's a really powerful thing. And detachment is very important, Danielle, but attachment is like, it's really hard to describe, but it is intertwined in the very fabric of society, attachment. So the ultimate underlining attachment that is the source of all suffering is attachment to the illusionary sense of self. And trust me, if you are looking to transcend or dissolve that attachment, it's going to take some time. That's not a weekend type thing. We don't dissolve the attachment to the illusionary sense of self in a weekend. This is good. I really enjoy this Maxwell House stuff. I'd been buying this expensive coffee for years. Turns out I don't need to. This Maxwell House is delicious. Daily practice is the accumulation principle. So, Kelly, you're working with one of the principles of the universe. Daily practice is how we gain skill. It's how we gain momentum by doing something as often as we can remember, which is why my baseline teaching for everything is always mindfulness. See, I'm not trying to take people to the next level of consciousness, because first of all, there are no levels. I don't understand any of that. I just go deeper into the present moment. I don't need other levels. You know, I was looking out onto this beautiful ocean, and I'm thinking about this person telling me they can help me 11D level up. I feel glorious looking at this ocean. What is 11D going to bring me? Why am I always seeking outer worldly? You know, this is why Marvel movies and superhero movies are so popular. Because we want to marvel at all of the things that can happen outside of our experience, rather than marveling at all of the things that can happen inside. You know, that's not as flashy. Granted, you know, that being able to move things with your mind and all that makes for better television. Good morning, Dorian. That's a good point, Danielle. Yes. The clouds on my walk this morning were joyous. Fox walking. So I've been getting a lot of questions regarding physical pain, regarding the physical body. When we're talking about being in the present moment, that's difficult for some people because they're dealing with a certain type of pain. They have a certain type of pain in their body, regardless of what that is. So, now I'm not qualified. I'm not a doctor, thankfully. I have much more to offer. So I'm not telling anybody that they should or shouldn't do anything. So that's my disclaimer, right? However, I am qualified in what I have done myself. I haven't been sick in 6 years. I haven't had a flu-like symptom in over 6 years. I breathe freely every day. I used to have physical pain all over my body that I just thought was normal. I just thought that this was just a part of the human experience, were these random, excruciating pains. And then when I stopped doing certain things, it was painful. So my body felt terrible. It felt broken. The energy wasn't flowing. And I know that a lot of people are in that condition. You know, they're going through that. So when it comes to anything that is immediate, let's say we're in a car accident, Western medicine is the best. You have a much higher chance of surviving in the United States in terms of a traumatic experience. They can save your life like no other medical system on earth. But anything chronic, the American or the Western medicine system is a complete letdown. They have completely missed the point to the nth degree, that what they're prescribing is only creating new chronic conditions. You go from one chronic condition and you get a medication that creates several more that you need a new medication for, and then before you know it, you're just shit. You just feel terrible all of the time. One medicine is causing another thing that's causing another thing that's causing another thing. So belief is also a very powerful tool. That's the thing, is that when we stop attaching to it, we can use it to our benefit. We can use it as long as it serves us. So I am not, so this again is the illusionary sense of self, which also includes a belief. So I'm not the person, and this is our mind, so I'm not the person who's saying that we need to let go of belief and just let belief go away. And there we go. We'll happily float through life without belief. But then again, I'm not saying that we cling so tightly to belief that we're willing to defend it, fight over it. attach to it, dwell on it, think about it all of the time. I find a very happy medium. This is my belief. It's a tool that I use. I'll use it as long as it serves me, and as soon as I feel that it's not, bye-bye. That's the same with all tools. So let's start talking about some tools that we can use to get our health going in the right direction. So anything severe, especially anything that is psychological, that's being caused in your mind, first of all, you can't half-ass that. I couldn't half-ass that. And what I mean by half-ass is approaching it lightly, dabbling. If something has gotten to the point that you're using the word severe, it's time. It's really time to flip the script. It's time to bring it to a screeching halt. It's time to work with this every day, every day, every day. There's no time to waste. And especially some of these chronic conditions that are being caused and perpetuated by the mind. They are completely psychological in nature. There's certain types of ringing in the ear. There's certain types of disorders that are caused by the thinking mind. That are caused because the energy isn't flowing smoothly. So there are many ways to heal. In fact, it's the body doing the healing. Nobody has ever healed another person. Even in Reiki, it's not the person, it's not the master that's doing the healing. It's your body. Fibromyalgia. Interestingly, that's also one in the book of Tai Chi that is covered. In long-term studies, it has been found to help. It has been found to reduce the pain because of relaxation. Awesome, Kelly. So you've gotten away from that medicine. So you are a shining beacon of hope that this is possible. So what happens, and I'll explain this from the Chinese perspective, because I can only explain what I know. So the Reiki master, they can explain what they know. You know, the light healer or whatever these other things are, they can explain what they do. You know, there's plenty of room in this world for everybody. You know, there's no such thing as competition. I'm not in competition with anybody in any way, shape, or form. You know, the things that I say, use them. I don't care. You know, the things that are working for me, you know, go tell somebody else. That's fine. But there's plenty of room. There's 7 billion people on Earth, and a lot of them still think it's okay to litter. So there's still a lot of work to do. There's a lot of ground to cover. A lot of people who need healing and want to feel better. So I'm going to tell you how I did it. So again, no aches or pains. I have almost no aches or pains throughout my entire body anymore. I don't cough. I don't sneeze unless I get some pepper or something. Hi, Pauline. Good morning. So arthritis, lupus, fibromyalgia. Tai Chi can actually help with all of those. Now, I know that there's other healing arts out there, but I only know the one that I practice. I only know the one that I teach. I only know the one that I have done. But how has it worked? Why does it work? So, you know, I'm gonna be a little bit general, because if I'm too specific, the Tai Chi scholar is going to emerge from nowhere and say, aha, you left something out, Ernest. So I'm just going to be really general. Once upon a time, there was a doctor. He was a Chinese doctor. And he was trying to find out why people were getting sick. What was the cause of all of the sickness in the land? So one day, he was observing stagnant water. And this stagnant water, he could see that everything in that water was starting to die. It was starting to get sick. The moss on the water was starting to accumulate, and the water was getting really thick and gross. And he's like, that's interesting. So then he started observing who was getting sick. So he could see the people that were getting the sickest are the people who weren't moving, who were not physically moving. So there are a lot of energy exercises, but the ones that involve physical movement will start to transcend something that you can apply for the rest of your life. Physical movement is important. So moving the energy with your mind, that works. But in the beginning with Tai Chi, you first start moving the body, which moves the energy. Energy loves to spiral. Chen Sao, which is silk reeling. The arms are like reeling silk. This is working with energy. So I started practicing Tai Chi. And I started relaxing. So if somebody has a serious chronic condition, I recommend movement therapy, movement-based therapy. When it has gotten severe, I recommend physically moving. So I wouldn't just recommend, these sitting meditations. I can't just recommend that. Because, for example, if you have this ringing in your ear, trying to clear the mind is not something that is a happy thought. That's not something we want to do. When you have this physical, nagging, chronic pain, sitting in lotus posture, clearing the mind, is a frightening thing to think about because it will bring attention to the pain for most people, right? So we start to move our body. Yoga is a really great practice. I do 5 or 6 yoga postures every single day. My downward dog is getting better and better and better and better because I do it every single day. Now, I'm not a yogi, so I don't do a bunch of different yoga. I just have cherry-picked what I like, and I do that every day. So one of the key ingredients, if we're feeling that the condition, the chronic condition is becoming severe, then we need an all-out effort. We need to go all in. We can't half-ass that. So coming from a drug addiction, coming from, addictive behavior, I couldn't just half-ass that. I couldn't just for 10 minutes every day do a little bit of Tai Chi and be like, this is going to solve everything. Yeah. So Laura, and I'm sure you can attest, and Danielle, I'm sure you can attest, the power of yoga, the power of that movement. And then it starts to interject internal movement with external movement. Balance. So if a person is really having these chronic, severe conditions, we have to approach it in a holistic way. And I mean holistic. So how bad do you want this pain to stop? How important is it to you? Because if it really is, then we're going to do what's necessary. Just like I did what was necessary. I'm like, no. I don't like the way that I'm living. I don't like the way that I'm feeling. So I took an all-out assault on it. And I say assault, but, that's just a word I'm using. That's just a description of me going all in. Every single day, all throughout the day, checking in. How do I feel? Moving my body. Doing what was necessary to feel good. So good. So Kelly uses a key word, belief. So words that we use are a description of our belief system. It's a description of how we're thinking when we use certain words. And if we use certain words often enough, that is an indication of where our mind is, where our consciousness is. Again, I'm not going to say levels of consciousness because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as any level of consciousness relative to another person. It's only relative to me. Is my conscious higher than where my consciousness was before or yesterday? Because consciousness is an infinite scale. Therefore, there can be no up and down. Einstein postulated that if you wake up one morning and everything is 20% bigger, including yourself, would you even notice? Of course not. Because there's no context. Because we live in an infinite universe. There's no such thing as small or bigger. There's only small or bigger relative to this set point. So any type of higher vibration or elevation of consciousness is only relative to where my consciousness was before. It has nothing to do with anybody else. And that's when we start to get into this abstract, weird stuff. Like, we'll level up our consciousness. We can upgrade to the next level, which starts to create, a disconnect between people. And then somebody, starts to act like a guru. And oh, I can help everybody. Oh, I have some secrets to offer. So if you're into that sort of thing, that's fine. I'm not. I have everything that I need to proceed with the utmost authority in my life. And so do you. I think that every single person was born a guru. I think every single person was born knowing everything that they ever really needed to know. You were born connected. You were born ready to have perfect health. And that's why oftentimes young people can overcome things that the doctor said that they couldn't, because they don't have the limited belief that they can't. So beliefs are important. Everybody has a belief. So sometimes we start to get on this ride, and a lot of people jump on it. And now there's some people jumping on that we should have no belief. Well, I think that's very unrealistic. We don't want to cling to the belief. Can you have a belief without being attached to the belief? Can you have a mind without being attached to your mind? Can you have an opinion without being attached to your opinion? I can. Good morning. Hi, Monica and Emma. So, when I wanted to get healthy, I didn't half-ass it. I was like, no, I really want my body to be strong. I want it to be healthy. I want to feel glorious in every moment of my life. That required attention to detail. This is what I call embodiment theory. So maybe I only understand 2 things, maybe 3. Let's not get carried away. Just 3 things. Let's say I only really understand 3 things in this life. That's all I need. Because I'm going to take these 3 things and I am going to interject and apply to every single detail of my existence in a very relaxed way, in a very effortless way. Just with my attention, with my awareness, with who I really am in the present moment. It's easy to talk about the present moment. It's easy to recommend other people to get into the present moment. But how often are we conscious of our existence happening now? How are we splitting our attention into our body, which therefore helps us reach out into our surroundings? That's the only way you can do it. That's the only way anybody can do it, because we're sensing into the environment. Sensory perception. So the little sea worm, so I found a little sea worm, right? And I've used him as an example a couple times, but it boggled my mind. I'm like, at what point will this sea worm even perceive me? It didn't see me coming because it doesn't have eyes. It didn't hear me coming because, as far as I could tell, it didn't have ears. I don't see a nose on this little sea worm, so I don't think it could smell me. But when I touched it, it shriveled and its mouth started to open. So it could feel me. What is the universe like to this little sea worm, whose only sensory perception perhaps is taste and touch? What is the world like to it? What is the universe like to it? What is the ocean like to it? Well, it has no frame of reference. It can't go outside of its own experience. So as far as it's concerned, that's it. That's all there is. Does that sound familiar? Is there any other creature on Earth that is trying to explain everything based on its limited ability to perceive? We have 3 color cones in our eye. There are sea creatures with hundreds, thousands. What's the universe like to them? So I didn't half-ass it. I wanted to achieve perfect health because, first of all, I believed it is possible. I knew that this was something that I could do. So I started to look at everything. What am I doing? What am I doing? And I didn't look forward and I didn't look backwards. I looked now. Where is my mind right now? Where is my mind focusing right now? What is it that my body is yearning for? What is really going on? Are the doctors telling me the truth? Are the people telling me the truth? I need to do this, I need to do that. Good morning. So there's something that we need to stop doing. And it takes a little bit of time. And you don't have to approach it from the position of lack. Start using words that serve you. Because a word is just a description of your reality. If you use limiting words, you are very likely limiting yourself in your reality. What words are we using? I cannot. I cannot. I have a hard time. These are just limiting beliefs. And we can see it because the words that are coming out are a reflection of that limiting belief. When's the last time you guys have ever heard me begin a sentence with I can't? Or that's not possible. Because I don't believe that. So no, that doesn't come into my field of perception. I don't express things that way. So the first thing I did was awesome. Zimbabwe. That's awesome. Isn't the internet cool? There's this space for me to share my mind, and it goes all the way around the world and back again. I'm almost out of coffee. A final sip. That's really tasty. So one of the things that I did is I stopped limiting myself. I can be perfectly healthy. I will be perfectly healthy. And there's this thing called the placebo effect. And I've heard people say, oh, that's just the placebo effect. Just? The fuck are you talking about, just? The mind just caused reality. The mind just cured the body of cancer or the sickness. Just placebo effect. What the hell does that mean, just? That should excite people that a water pill and the belief caused a physical reality. Actualization. That should be really exciting to people. When I first read about placebo effect, the more that I read about it, and of course I like documented studies, I tend to get away from the Facebook memes. I don't know what's true on Facebook, so as far as I'm concerned, none of it is. So I do like reading the studies, I like reading the books from Harvard. Good morning, Carly. Drinking coffee with me. Awesome. So these limiting beliefs, I check them at the door. And slowly I started to realize that there is no limit. There is absolutely no limit to what we can do, to what we can accomplish. Now we can accomplish more together, but we can accomplish so much on an individual level. So what started to change for me? Number one, those limiting beliefs. And I started changing my words. I would catch myself. And I'd be like, oh, does that word really reflect my mind? Or am I just, habitually using this word? Am I using this word as a part of a conditioned pattern in my mind? Limiting beliefs are words that we tell ourselves, a story that we tell ourselves. So I don't want the limited belief, I want the unlimited belief. But both are a belief, right? I just prefer the belief of being unlimited. I am the I am. You can't tell me it's not possible. And typically when people do, I go out of my way to prove them wrong. Somebody told me that I couldn't maintain a meditative state all day. Check. Somebody told me that I couldn't transcend psychological suffering. Check. Somebody told me that I couldn't feel glorious in every moment of my life. Check. I'm just checking off the list. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I don't want to live in anybody else's box. Don't put me in a box. So these words, this is an important thing. And some people, they're just words. Are they just words? Or is this how we're describing our reality using those limited words? So I changed the words, which is essentially I changed this. So all of the words coming out of here first were born here. Even if there's no filter for some people, it's going instantly from mind to mouth. Who really thinks before they speak? So a little bit. I was observing myself. This is a mindfulness technique. So I used this mindfulness technique to adjust my word patterns, these vibrations that I was giving out, this story that I was telling myself. Words have the power that I give them because I am the creator. I am the I am, just as you are the you are. So this word, you know what? I don't want it to have any power in my experience anymore. Whoop, it's gone. No power. That word's gone because it's just a description of reality. It's not real. It's vague. It's disconnected from source at best because it's just a word. It's just a description of what we're trying to describe. What we're trying to describe has power. But the description itself is just a description. So we give it power. I give words power. You give words power. We're the creators. We're the assigners of value. So a word to you may have a lot of power, but a word to another person, they're just like, that doesn't mean much to me. There's certain words that will cause people to fight. Do you think that there is any word that you could say that would make me angry? Or will I just look at you? What you're saying is a reflection of your consciousness. It has nothing to do with me. So when somebody says bad words to me, or they're trying to tear me down, that's just an indication of your consciousness. That has nothing to do with me. So do you think I get angry? Do you think I respond in the way that they want me to or expect me to? Of course not. You can't make me angry. If I allow myself to become angry, it's because I allowed the perpetual stream of thought to take hold. Not when I'm aware. And I'm aware most of the time. The accumulation principle. You get best at what you practice most. I'm in the moment most of the time. Awareness of the moment is intrinsically connected. If you truly are aware, you can't be aware of anything else but the moment. So I do like that present moment awareness and talking about the present moment is catching on. But let's not kid ourselves. We've never experienced anything else. Oh, here we go. Contrails. So I started to change these limiting beliefs. That was step one. So step one, I started to tell myself a different story. I can, I will, I must, I can achieve this, I will achieve this. It's within my frame of reference. It's within my possibility to achieve. I can do this if I want to. If I'm committed to the process, I can. I didn't focus on the lack. I focused on the can. I will. I must. And that led me from one thing to another that we like to call inspired action. What was my inspired action? Well, I started to stick to principles. And that's where I diverge from a lot of people. I just stick to basic principles. I can see patterns, and I've been able to see them all of my life. Spoiler alert, that's in my book. I see these patterns. I'm able to step back, and I see this cycle. And it's just going and going and going. And I'm like, It almost feels like I'm a hamster in a wheel. Like I'm running really fast, but I'm going nowhere. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to upset that setup. So here's a principle. I started applying principles to everything. My principle regarding beverages. I am mostly water. I need to give my body what it needs, which is water. So, starting today, I'm going to drink more water. I never focused on lack. I never focused on, I'm going to stop this, I'm going to stop this. Starting today, I quit soda. Starting today, I quit eating sugar. Starting today, I quit eating meat. Starting today, I'm going to be vegan. If that's working for you, super duper. I found that to be debilitating. Clinging to these labels I found to be debilitating. And then I saw these cycles in other people. They became vegan, they started preaching veganism. They became vegetarian, they started preaching vegetarianism. They started telling other people what was good for them. And I'm like, that's weird. Why would we do that? Why do we feel compelled once we jump on a bandwagon to try to force other people onto our wagon? Well, I can understand to some extent because we just want to share what feels good. I am the I am just as you are the you are. The universe wants what's best for me because I want what's best for myself. Same with you. I want what's best for you because you're just another aspect of me. So we focus on the step right in front of us. The first step right in front of me was that baby step was not limiting my belief. And then number 2 was identifying the tricks, the traps of attention, these cycles that we're in. And I'm like, whoa, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and step out of this cycle. I see the Burger King commercial. All of a sudden I want Burger King. I go to Burger King, eat the food, and I feel like shit. I want to take a nap. I'm not vibrant anymore. So what's an easier way? When I started eating better, drinking better, I noticed a pattern that I was starting to slip into. Oh, I'm checking nutrition labels. Oh, I'm caring about chemtrails. Oh, I'm caring about fluoride. So I was getting carried away. I was getting caught in this new belief cycle that was just a new trap. It was just a new clinging, a new thing that I could potentially latch onto. And I was like, no. I'm not going to go from one extreme to the other. I'm not going to be this guy who didn't give a shit about his health, and now all of a sudden, because I'm exercising and eating well, I'm going to go around preaching that. Good morning. God's morning. You're right, Emma. It doesn't have to include others, but what we do is we inspire to motivate, and what happens? People start asking questions. And then that's when we give information. We tell people what's worked for us. I stopped preaching because I caught myself preaching. I'm like, whoa, like they didn't even ask me. And then I started leaving vitamin C tablets for the employees because they were all getting sick. And I'm like, hey guys, do you notice that I'm never sick? Carbs, protein, fat, saturated fat, monosodium glutamate, polysaturated fats, sodium. So I just stick to very basic principles. And guess what? It works. So principle number 1 regarding beverages and what I drink. I am mostly water. It makes sense to drink water. And I want to drink clean water. So I put it through a filter. I don't worry about it. I don't think about it. I just drink water, and guess what happened? I stopped drinking soda. I only drink coffee early in the morning, and it's just because I like the taste. I don't need coffee. Do you think I need coffee to feel vibrant in the morning? Shit. No, I don't. I just wake up, I click my heels, and I'm ready to go. But I do enjoy coffee time. It's a ritual that I enjoy, not a habit. If I find it being a habit, I'll switch the time that I do it. I'll do something to switch it so that I'm not attaching or clinging to that. So my beverages. It's just a little nugget, just a simple thing. I don't need to complicate this. I don't have to start using sugar substitutes that are just going to cause different problems than the sugar was causing. Did you guys know that the sugar substitute is essentially destroying the good bacteria in your gut, the good bacteria that allows you to absorb the nutrients that your body needs, that sends the electrochemical responses and the electrical signals up your spine to tell your mind what it is that sounds good to eat. If you have a certain type of bacteria that eats sugar and loves processed foods, your parasympathetic and your autonomic nervous system are telling your mind what it wants to eat. It's like, hey, mind, brain, I want more sugar. And so you eat more sugar. That sounds good to you. But guess what happens when you start eating vegetables and drinking water? You start nourishing the other bacteria. Did you know that you have more bacteria cells in your body than you do human cells? That's interesting. Yet we identify with our human side, but without the bacteria, we're dead. We don't exist without bacteria. We need bacteria. So when you take all of the different antibacterial lotions and all the antibacterial soaps and all the antibacterial, why are we trying to destroy the bacteria when we can't live without it? How do we process food? How does food become processed and broken down in the first place? Bacteria, enzymes. Upset the setup. Like, this is a lot of the things that we're believing, these belief systems, these perpetual cycles are not true. It's a phantom. It's a collective belief system that is just debilitating. It's not helping. So I just see this little principle, this little nugget of principle. Ernest, drink water. So I drink water. I don't need to drink anything else. I just drink water. The body is an amazing healing mechanism. A glass of wine isn't going to affect it. It's going to have no long-term effect. Good morning from Denmark. Cool. All the way in Denmark. Somebody's listening to me chit-chat. Principles. How often is Ernest talking about laws and principles of the universe? Because I just stick to the principles. I stick to the basics. Bye, Laura. Good morning from Denmark. Multiple Denmarkies. Denmarkers. So how about food? I noticed myself going to the grocery store, spending 2 hours to get 5 or 10 things because I can't stop looking at labels. And so now this starts churning and churning and churning and churning, and now all of a sudden one stress has become a new stress. Now eating well is stressing me out. I was like, no, there's got to be a path with less resistance. There has to be a path with least resistance regarding how I eat. Maybe I could just use a principle? Maybe I could do that, right? Okay. What's a principle? Well, all of the energy that we are using comes from the sun and from the core of our planet. So here's a principle. I want to eat the sun. I want to eat directly from the sun as often as possible. Why? Because in principle, that's where I'm getting all of my energy from anyway. Planning your shop really helps. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good principle to use. So in principle, so Krishna is if I say Dariel, that's who I'm talking about. Dariel. But Dariel mentioned something really, really beneficial. Plan your shop. Plan when you go to the grocery store. Maybe don't go hungry. These are little principles that we can start to apply that will just allow everything to fall in place on its own. So protein. Why is everybody obsessed with protein? Human breast milk has the least amount of protein than any mammal on Earth. Why the obsession with protein? If you eat plants, you're going to get all the protein you need because all protein comes from plants anyway. No, 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 it comes from meat. Are you sure? Are you sure that the animal isn't just taking the protein from the plant and that protein is going into the muscle and then you eat the muscle, which is essentially just recycled protein? Some of the goodness of that protein has already been used by the animal. Now, you can eat meat. I'm not saying to be a vegetarian. You can eat candy. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Following these basic principles helps me. So I want to eat from the sun. Light energy directly from the source. The plant takes in the energy from the sun. And that energy is all I need. I can live off of that energy. So I do. I try, for the most part, I eat vegetables. That's where my mind is at. But if I'm in a situation or I'm around people and there's no vegetables, I just eat. I'm going to be okay. You know, my human body is a healing machine. I come from Mother Earth, which is a healing machine. So organic. I'll buy organic if that's what's there. If that's not what's not there, I don't let that become a problem. This word organic is new. We've been eating for thousands of years without it being organic. Gluten. When they start telling you that chicken is gluten-free, I mean, something's going on. So I just get away from all of the thought process, all of the thinking words in my mind, and I just stick to basic principles. I'm going to eat veggies. That's going to be my primary principle. If I eat something else, fuck it. I don't care. You know, it doesn't really matter. Because I'm focusing on the vegetables. That's super easy. I can relax my mind. Can I have a bowl of ice cream if I want it? Can I have some meat if I want it? Now I tend to not eat meat. I've eaten a little bit more than I do normally because I'm staying with some family members, and I'm not going to be a bother. I'm not going to try to change them. I'm not going to preach to them. So I just eat a little bit. That's okay. But typically I don't want to eat meat. But I'm never going to call myself a vegetarian, because that's tension. That becomes very tense. It becomes a battle in our own mind. We start battling vegetarian. We start battling meat. How long do you have to talk to a vegan before they tell you that they're vegan? I typically don't drink milk. I typically don't eat dairy products because I care about the treatment of animals. Yes, humans can eat meat, but this is just my belief, right? It's just how I operate. I prefer not to, but I can if I want to, because I'm not in any box. I'm not going to go from one box to another, from eating whatever the fuck I want to with no awareness to, you know, this debilitating focus on what's good and what isn't good, and cholesterol and, you know, lipids and, you know, all of these different things. That becomes a mental obstacle. And the mental obstacle will debilitate your energy faster than any food will. You can go eat Burger King, and if you feel positive about it, it's going to affect you less. If you go to Burger King and start getting down on yourself, now you're sinking faster than the Titanic. Your energy is just going to be gone, because you're mentally debilitating along with physical debilitating. So I have met people. So when I was working at Burger King in high school, I met an old Indian man. He was about 98. I looked at his driver's license because I did not believe him. He had to be 60 at best. No, he was almost 100 years old, and he ate 2 Whopper Juniors every day. Explain that to me. So all the health nuts out there, health nuts. So the people who are attaching and clinging to good health to the point where it becomes debilitating, explain to me how this person who drinks he has 2 or 3 shots of alcohol every day, he eats 2 Whopper Juniors every day, and he smokes 1 cigar in the morning. How did he make it past 100? His mind was relaxed, because the mind has amazing healing power. The mind, the mind, the mind. The mind and the body are not separate. When I exercise, I don't listen to music because I'm going to connect to my body. I'm going to maintain my impeccable form. If I lose form, then there's no reason to do that exercise anymore. I am not building aesthetic muscles because that just doesn't interest me. I can understand if it interests another person. I'm nobody's judge. I'm not here to say the way you eat is right, the way you eat is wrong. I tend to my own garden. And I've taken out all of the anxiety from eating. I've taken out all the anxiety from drinking. I've taken out all the anxiety from exercising. What do I do regarding exercise? I exercise. I just do it every day for about an hour. I don't need to worry. I don't have any goals to meet. I'm going to be healthy for the rest of my life. I'm not worried about a beach body, although I have one. I'm not worried about having a 6-pack of abs, although I have one. And I just have one because I just do exercise every day. I eat plant material most often, and that's good for my body. I walk, I stay active, I move. So all of these pains, they've gone away. I used to get these random pains that was just like, oh, where did that come from? That just must be natural. It's not. There's nothing natural about it. The most natural condition for the human being is to feel fucking fantastic, to feel glorious and energized. So I never understood until a certain point of my life what it was like to feel vibrant, like to feel energy all throughout your body and just be glowing, to just feel glorious. I thought that was some abstract thing, feel glorious. Well, I mean, that just must be a way that we're describing something. No, we can actually feel fantastic. Like, feel it, like the energy is moving in your body. It feels tingly, it feels energetic, it feels lively, it feels wonderful. This is our most innate state, because kids feel that way. They don't have pains. They don't have mental blocks. They don't have limiting beliefs. We teach them that. So there's so much tension around food. There's so much tension around exercise. How do we know when that information is becoming toxic? When we cling to it, when we attach to it, and when we start to preach and force it on other people, and when we'll fight to defend our position. That's when information is becoming toxic. That's a good gauge. So I'm not here to preach, but if anybody wants to know principles that work for me, I'm happy to share. In principle, I move my body. Every single day, as often as I can, I want to maintain movement. Awareness of my body. Awareness of the moment happening now. Not just sometimes. All of the time. Because it's possible. Why is it not possible for us to be checked into our experience every single moment? Why are we under this delusion that we have to be lost in our mind, at least most of the time? I have not. And as much as I enjoy reading, I have switched to historical fiction mostly, or just fiction, because information has become toxic. I only need to know 2 or 3 things. If I can manage to apply those 2 or 3 things into every single aspect of my life, boom. I don't need to read another book. I don't need to spiritually upgrade. I don't need to do all of these things that people are trying to sell me. I'm not trying to levitate. I'm not trying to level up. I'm not trying to transcend. So that is very likely a wonderful book. And if anybody is still in that stage of accumulating, then I recommend, reading some of these great books, because there's a lot of them out there. And they're all, describing the same reality. So a lot of them are going to have a lot of the same truth. So first of all, Dorian, we stop and we adjust. So we look at the language that we're using. And we've talked about this. I can't say it in any other way. As long as we keep repeating those sentences, that will be the condition that we exist in most often. That's true. It's the way it works. We can start telling ourselves a different story. We can start telling ourselves a new story, something that benefits us. Well, there's a difference between knowing and applying, isn't there? There's a difference between, having this nugget of information and crossing the divide between theory and application. So I recommend mantras. How does the universe reflect your momentum to you? Everything is just a reflection. The universe is constantly just a reflection of everything that's going in here. That's a principle. Nothing out there is absolute. Well, one principle, Jennifer, if we just want to start with one principle, it's the law of the universe. There is only one moment. One ever-present, infinite, always happening moment. If we were able to take that one principle and interject it into our entire life, holy shit, everything changes, everything unravels. One principle. There is only the now. That's just one thing. Why do we need anything else? All of the power in the universe, all of the good health, all of the energy, vitality, and everything that we've ever wanted in our entire life is accessible now. In this moment. Right here, right now. That's a principle, and that's why I say this shit over and over and over and over and over. And I don't believe in this limited idea that I can't be tuned in and checked in to my experience as it happens all the time, because I can, and I do. And I gain momentum. And that momentum is automatically reflected in my exterior circumstances, because the exterior is just a reflection of the interior. Because everything out there is only a small portion of what's actually there. We're only seeing a little bit of it, just a little tiny fragment of what's real. Why would we cling to that? Why would we attach to that little bit? Why would we try to assimilate everything out there into a word pattern, a word structure that we call knowledge and understanding? Bullshit. So just one principle. If we were to apply just one happy principle into every aspect of our lives, there is no other moment than the now. There is no other time, there is no other place, there is no other anything than the infinite, ever-present moment. So why are we so unaware of it most of the time? Why are we stuck in these habitual thought patterns, thinking about these limiting beliefs? Why do we insist on sedating? A constant form of entertainment. I don't require an entertained mind. My mind does not have to be entertained because I find the beauty of existence entertaining. There is only one source of power, and that's now. So that's one principle. One simple principle. Why do I need to quantum IT level up? Why do I need to do any of that stuff? I can just use that one principle, the power of now. One simple thing. If applied to every moment of my life, will radiate outward. That's powerful, isn't it? One thing. So I found a couple. I found 2 or 3 things that I've been able to interject into every single aspect of my life. Full out embodiment. And I call that the embodiment theory. This is stuff Ernest is starting to make up so that I can describe things easier to people. It's the embodiment theory. I don't half-ass it. There's no half-assing in Ernest. I'm not going to do things just a little bit. I'm not going to do things at just during this 15-minute meditation session. or this 1 hour that I'm doing my Tai Chi practice. No. Full embodiment. The embodiment principle. Can we take the power of now into full embodiment in our lives? If you do, everything changes. Everything does. On its own. Effortlessly. Easily. It's the path with the least resistance. Right here. Right now. So I don't just preach that shit. I'm not just going around telling everybody, oh, the power of the present moment, the power of the present moment. And then I go off and just do my own repetitive habitual thought pattern. No. No. I am the I am. I have crossed the bridge between theory and application. So what's a result of that? You know, what's something that we could potentially expect from always tuning into the present moment? Well, how about transcending psychological suffering? How about calming the monkey mind? How about perfect health? The power is in simplicity. Buddha just wanted everybody to realize that the entire universe was in a single grain of sand. Jesus wanted you to know that a sparrow is important. It has all of the machinations of God in just a single sparrow. And that's just a sparrow. What about us? We have choice, we have awareness, we have volition. We are conscious creators. How much more powerful are we? Good morning, Cindy. So we can get complicated. If you find that useful, I don't. I find coming back to simple. I'm like Einstein with spirituality. I want the unified field theory. You know, I don't want an equation that takes up 15 blackboards. How do I explain that? It's just confusing to people. Pauline, it's actually been over the course of my entire life. That's what my book is about. But over the last 6 to 10 years, I have really crossed the divide between theory and application. And that's what I'm here to share. And I gained momentum. So I don't know how long it takes for anybody else. I can't tend to your garden. There's no such thing as guarantees. I'm not here to make a fucking guarantee. What is that about? I've given up trying to control. I can't make any promises. All I know is that there's the way the universe works. I can observe it. I can see it. And I choose to roll with it rather than push against. I roll with the universe. I go with the flow. There's no point in trying to push against it. So food. I follow this basic principle. I stick to the sun. As often as I can. As often as I remember, I stick to the sun. I have fruit. I have vegetables. I cook them lightly. Every now and then I want a good stir fry. Every now and then I want a good salad. I've fallen in love with wraps. Because I can throw in tons of veggies in a wrap, and then that's my vegetable intake. I can throw a bunch of vegetables into a smoothie, and that's my smoothie intake. And then people are like, oh, what about the sugar, Ernest? There's sugar in that banana. The fuck? So there's this point where information becomes toxic, even about food. And now you have people running around telling you what to do, shaming you because you had a burger. I'm writing my book. Yeah. Because that's what I love. I'm not a writer, but I love sharing. So when you read my first book, you're going to be like, like this isn't the best written, but the information is golden. Because I'm relating how I've crossed the divide between theory and application. There's a lot of people in theory land, but there's very few who have crossed that divide between theory and application. So how did I do it? I'm telling you. Like, there are no secrets. I'm not withholding anything. There's no credit card number that you can interject that will allow me to give you more. I'm giving it all away. You can have it. It's worked for me. Here. Maybe it'll work for you. And then if it works for you, maybe you can share it with somebody else. And then before you know it, we have, without trying to change the world, we have affected the human subconscious to the point where everything changes on its own. It gains momentum, because momentum is a principle of the universe. We can observe it. Our sun right now is gaining the momentum of supernova. Not enough to where it will create a black hole, but still, it will create a new star. I will see that happen because I have no limiting belief. I'm not under this illusion that I have to be stuck in this body for the rest of my life. So I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not on a mission. I'm not on a mission from God. No, I'm just an example. I'm doing what every other sage has ever done. I'm just making myself available. I'm just telling people what has worked for me. And if you find value, cool. If you find one of my tools, use it. If not, but the how. All right, so what is the how? So the how is this principle. I'm telling you how right now, okay? So we have the how. It's this principle of just sticking to light and checking into your experience as often as you can to build the necessary momentum to have volition of choice, to have choice in the moment. So how? Let's stop using words like problem. You have no problem. Let's stop using these limited words. How do we stop using limited words? By using unlimited words. I can. I will. There's nothing that can stop me. There's no box that can keep me inside. We focus on the step right in front of us. That's how. This is how I did it. I checked into my experience. Ernest, where is my mind? Ooh, I'm starting to overthink this food, so instead I'm just going to eat some broccoli. Oh, but if you eat too much broccoli. Oh, if you eat too much What are we doing? We've gone from one extreme to another. I don't recommend that. So I back up. And I just follow the step right in front of me. I just follow this basic principle. I eat light from the sun, as close to the sun as I possibly can, which is in fruits, it's in vegetables, it's in raw foods, and I just stick to that. And then guess what? I feel good. And I use soda as an example. I never said I'm going to stop eating soda. I never said I'm going to stop eating sugar. I never said I'm going to stop eating processed foods. I never said I'm going to stop eating fast food. Instead, I just started eating vegetables. I just started eating light. I just started drinking water. And I did it all throughout the day. Baby steps. So I told myself, today I'm going to drink 3 glasses of water. Intention and will. When the gap between intention and will becomes less and less and less, we feel confident. We feel that we can do it. And I've seen this in the martial arts community. They've gone from one extreme to another. And now they think that their extreme is better than your extreme. I believe that the Taoist philosophy is the only path to inner peace. Bullshit. Upset that setup. I'm not going to go from one limiting belief to a new one. I'm not going to get stuck in that habitual cycle of I'm better than you, that my mind is somehow better than somebody else's mind. These things are just illusions. We don't have to do that. Instead, I tend to my own garden. I perfect my own energy by following simple principles. In our martial art, we follow very simple principles. It turns out, when those principles are applied, it's very effective in self-defense. Why am I going to work against gravity when I can work with it? Why am I going to use my own energy when you've already used more than enough to put yourself on the ground? These are just basic principles, right? I don't need to complicate this. I don't need to interject the deepest of Taoist philosophy, you know? I don't have to go with a guru into the forest on a spiritual pilgrimage to become enlightened. No. If any person is not right here, right now, if their awareness isn't firmly rooted and embedded in the present moment, they're not enlightened. Enlightened isn't this town. It's not this location. Enlightenment can only exist right here, right now. Where is your mind? Where is your energy? Where is your intention? Where is your breath? Right here, right now. This is simple stuff. This isn't complex. This isn't complicated. We don't need courses on this. This is just basic little things that we can work with. How? So I take this little principle of sticking to the sun for my food. Well, I see this food is getting further and further away from sun. I see that this food is getting further and further away from my principle. So no, I'm just going to bring it back and stick to the principle. I don't need to complicate it. I don't need to read a book. I don't need a course. I don't need a class. Good morning, Eric. I don't need to study the deepest philosophies of mankind. I can, if that's what floats my boat, sure. But I'm not going to attach to that. I'm not going to cling to that. I'm not going to start preaching that. I'm going to tend to my own garden. Well, how do I feel about beans and brown rice? I feel great about that. For no other reason than it tastes good and it comes from light. It's all so easy. So we just need to be present. And our mind will relax. We can just breathe and our mind will relax. This is the secret to perfect health. There is no secret. You already know it. But we get in our own way. We get stuck in these habitual patterns. So there's no wrong way, just as there's no right way. What's working for you? Well, I'm here to share what's worked for me. And I just find these little nuggets that I call principles. One of the laws of the universe is always the present moment. There's no other moment. So if you're on a diet, you're only on a diet right now. You're only executing that diet right now. Everything is always just an experience. That's the only way that we can relate to the outside world, is through the inside of our sensory perceptions. That little sea worm, what is its experience? It has no eyes. It has no nose. It has no ears. It can only sense once something touches it, once something is on its skin. What is the experience like to that little sea worm? What is the experience like to the hawk that can focus the center of its vision a mile away? Of course, it's all experience. See, Eric, you're getting into abstract ideological thinking. And I'm not sure why you're doing it, because I know that you're not bound to that. So, am I able to make a feather float with my chi? Who the fuck cares? What is that? That's when information becomes toxic. So now we're going to start trying to use our chi to make fire. What are you doing? What is the point of that? Are you able to maintain present moment awareness in every moment of your life? Maybe we should focus on that first. I'm not going to focus on 9D, 11D leveling up. I'm not going to focus on levitating my body. I'm not going to focus on all of these abstract ideological ways of thinking. Because chances are, if I want to make a feather float with my chi, I'm going to have to give somebody my credit card number to teach me that. Bullshit. I'm not interested. I'm interested in right here, right now. So, Eric, do you feel absolutely glorious in every single moment of your life? Do you wake up with that energy just like, I'm alive. I feel fucking fantastic. This is great. What can I get into today? Can I walk on the beach? Can I go into the forest? Can I go to work and interact with people? Can I make these connections with everybody? Or am I worrying about abstract ideological nonsense? Now, maybe that's really important to you. Namaste. God bless. Go work on levitating with your mind. Go work on transcending the physical dimension. You know what? I'm just going to go work on feeling fucking fantastic. You can go do whatever's working for you. Bless be given. I'm happy for you. You know what? I'm busy maximizing the human experience. I'm busy not making any fucking excuses. I'm taking responsibility for my time here on earth. I'm maximizing my experience. I don't give a damn about levitating with chi. That makes no sense to me. I couldn't possibly care less about being ultimate fighter, which is what a lot of martial arts get into. They just go from one trap of attention to another. They start exercising, they start feeling good, and then we start forcing that belief on other people. No. I don't need to IT spiritual upgrade. I don't need to transcend. What is that about? I just want to feel glorious in every moment of my life. I want to maximize the human experience because I can. If anybody tells you that you can't feel fantastic and glorious in every moment of your life, ask them why. If somebody tells you that you cannot maintain a meditative state of peace and calm in your entire life, ask them why. Why are you taking your limited belief and imposing it on me? No. I've stepped off the crazy train. I have transcended psychological suffering. Eric, that's enough for me. You know, I don't ever feel miserable. I don't ever worry. I don't generate anger. I don't generate jealousy. I don't even remember what those feelings are like. What is anger? It has no room in my experience anymore. How can I feel fucking glorious in every moment of my life while also feeling angry and frustrated? I have felt those feelings before, of course. But I realized I don't have to anymore. Somebody told me once that you can't feel glorious in every moment, that you can't operate from a position of authority and power that is deeply rooted in the present moment. Somebody told me that I can't, and so I have. Somebody told me that you can't possibly take this thinking, these words in our mind, the illusionary sense of self, and calm that. You can't flip that around so that you are checked into your experience most often. Here I am. I've upset the setup. I've transcended psychological suffering. I don't suffer. Now, do I have an immediate response to stimuli? Of course. I use my dog as an example, because using my wife and my son and, my mom is a little bit inappropriate. So, if my dog was to die, well, that's because I am attached to my dog. This is the illusionary sense of self, my cup. So, I'm sure Eric is very familiar with this, and, he's a high-level martial artist, so I'm using him as an example because I know he doesn't mind. But this is the illusion. Any word you can place on Tao goes in this cup. Any word that you can use to describe your reality goes in this cup. It's all an illusion. So what the Taoist does, what the Buddhist does, what the person who is under the delusional, abstract, ideological way of thinking that we have to completely stop the mind to feel peace, bullshit. So this is my illusionary sense of self, the ego. What the Buddhist is trying to do, some, not all, what the Taoist is trying to do, some of them, not every single one of them, they want to transcend this. They want to dissolve the illusionary ego, so they just have mind. And from mind I achieve peace, and I transcend to nirvana. Well, guess what? You have to be Buddha to do that. The next life, maybe. The next life, maybe. The next life, maybe. And then you have the other person, which is 99.9% of our population, who has an illusionary sense of self and they cling to it. This is my illusionary sense of self, my ideas, my beliefs. You can't have them. And they fight to defend them. They'll even kill another person and argue about it. No, I don't do either of those. I have an illusionary sense of self. Taoist belief, Buddhist belief, any type of belief goes in this cup because it's just an abstract, pale reflection of what's actually there. Every word is just a pale, abstract reflection of what's actually there. It's our attempt to describe reality. But we're only able to perceive just a speck of reality. So what are we really describing? Nothing. It's all bullshit. So I play with it. This is my illusionary sense of self. That's okay. It's mine. I love myself. I can perfect it. I can make it perfect. So Dana, what I'm talking about are the ways to achieve perfect health through principles. What I'm talking about is overcoming the illusionary sense of self. What I'm talking about is transcending psychological suffering. What I'm talking about is connecting to the only thing that is ever real. Now. The present moment. Being firmly rooted in the now. You are the awareness behind the thought. You are the consciousness that allows all things to come into being. So I'm talking about connecting to Source. I'm talking about conscious creation. I'm talking about using your mind to create your reality in a way that serves you, that suits you, and makes you happy. I have not, Eric. So in a lot of ways, I have stopped accumulating information because it doesn't serve me. If I took one little bit of information, and let's call it present moment awareness, applying the present moment, I can spend an entire lifetime and just focus on that and feel absolutely fucking glorious in my entire life. I can take one thing, one principle from the entire law of the universe, work with just one thing. Yip Man. You know, there's many techniques in the Wing Chun system. He only needed one. You only need maybe two. We learn all of these forms and put them together into this really pretty sequence. I only need one. I only need two at most. So I don't need all of these abstract ideological frames of reference. I don't need to accumulate more information, because the one thing I do know is all I need to know. There's only one moment right here, right now. So Dana Brown, what I'm talking about is how to access all of the real power in our lives. And I don't mean power over other people. I don't even mean power over yourself. I mean energy, connection to Source, connection to God. When have you ever experienced God? It wasn't in a book. It was in your experience happening now. So I'm talking about stepping from the abstract. Too much information is toxic, Jay. That's true. How do we know when information is becoming toxic? When there's no application. When this is the information bank, learning, which is just really recalling sensory information. You're remembering shit. You're right. I agree with you, Eric. Because the beginner's mind is open. The beginner's mind sees all of the possibilities. I don't believe in mastery. I don't use that control word. I'm not trying to master anything, because the word mastery implies that I have command over something, that I have control over something. I am not a master. I am not a guru. I am on par with every single other person that's watching this broadcast. There's 110 people currently observing. We are on par. We are only enlightened when we are firmly rooted in the now, when our attention and our awareness and our volition of choice is right here, right now. Venera, then you deal with that. If in the present moment you have a loss of a family member, you're going to feel that energetic loss. Before you had a connection with this human being that has now been broken. It's gone. At least on the physical level. So if I have loss of a family member, I deal with that. I feel the emotion. I don't push it away, but I also don't cling and attach to it. We know we're clinging and attaching to something when the repetitive processes in our mind gain perpetual momentum to the point that it causes psychological suffering. Does medicine affect our ability to begin? Of course it does. Yes. It does. In my experience, anyway. In somebody else's experience, I don't know. I can only explain the truth as Ernest sees it. What I have experienced, how I have transcended the psychological suffering, how I've crossed the divide between theory and application. I'm not a keyboard warrior. I don't just type shit that I've read. I'm not just going to quote Buddha. I'm not just going to quote Eckhart Tolle. I'm not just going to quote Lao Tzu. I'm not just going to quote the masters. They've already said it better than I can anyway. I can't explain the illusion and the attachment to the illusion better than Buddha. Why would I do that? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to show people how we can roll with it rather than against it. So if there's something happening in your present moment, it's in your present moment. It's right here, right now. The only thing that you can do is accept it. There's no point in resisting. There's no point in meeting tension with tension. There's no point in that at all. We just allow. If I feel grief, then I feel grief. I'll allow it. It will run its course. The only time that it builds the momentum to become long-term psychological suffering is when the thinking mind, the words in our head, tell ourselves the story over and over and over and over again. So my belief in reincarnation is irrelevant. My belief is just my belief. That's just something to me. That doesn't have to be a belief to you. Do I pray? Am I really alive? How does that enrich my experience right here, right now? So I hope you guys watch the Facebook Live I did on when information becomes toxic. Information becomes toxic when it doesn't really serve you in the right here, right now. Questioning my aliveness. How does that serve me? What does that really do for me? Am I alive? Do I pray? I meditate every single day. And do you know what I'm doing most often? Appreciating. Firmly rooted in this moment, because love is not abstract. It's intimately tied to my awareness. It's intimately tied to my volition. The light that makes me who I am. Isaiah, no offense, but I don't dabble in abstract. I'm not going to play in anybody's abstract games. I don't go down that path. You can leave breadcrumbs for somebody else. No offense, but I don't entertain that type of stuff anymore. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't serve me. The only question I ask myself, do I feel alive? Do I feel fucking vibrant? Do I want to move? Do I want to experience? Do I want to love? I am love. I am power. I am the I am. It's all intimately connected to my attention. Love is like a flashlight that is connected to my awareness. I shine it on whatever I want to. I share it with whoever I want to. I can make it like a lighthouse where it shines all around me and I illuminate everything around me. This is my focus. I'm not going to get into this abstract ideological stuff. Am I the shadow on the wall of the cave or am I the puppet master? Who fucking cares? Do you feel alive, Isaiah? Are you firmly rooted in the moment? Are you operating from a place of authority? Do you have psychological suffering? I acknowledge people, yeah. I do that for everybody. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. See, the difference is you don't affect me on an emotional scale. No troll can. You can't do anything to me outside of physical touch. If you were sitting right here, you could say anything you want to, because that's just a reflection of your reality. It's a reflection of your mind. Anytime somebody comes in and trolls, that's not a reflection of anything I'm saying. That's a reflection of your state of consciousness, where you are right here, right now. So when someone feels the need to come in and do something like that, that's cool. I don't mind. People asked me when we were doing our Pay It Forward program. So the Pay It Forward program is essentially where customers can buy these little hearts, and they can write, a food item, and then a homeless person or a person in need can come into the restaurant. They can take a heart off the wall and they can redeem the food item. So somebody said, Ernest, now we know people who don't really need it are going to come in. Do you see the connection I'm making between trolls and that? So people are going to come in who don't really need the food, and they're going to try to take it anyway. That's okay. I don't mind. They still need our help. If they're willing to come in and lie, if they're willing to come in and try to destabilize other people, they still need our help. They still need my love. So guess what? I'm going to connect to them. I love you, even though you're trolling. That's just a reflection of what is necessary for you to be entertained. I'm not your judge. I don't judge you. I am an open space for you to be a troll. Cool. See, I'm too busy being firmly rooted in the present moment. I'm too busy making love to my experience, and other people are picking up on that. Other people know what it's like to feel fucking fantastic in every moment. I don't have to try to take something from somebody else. I don't have to try to steal your energy. I don't have to try to do anything to you, because I am responsible for my own garden. This is what power really is. You can't affect me. There's nothing that you can say to me that will ever cause an emotional response. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to smile. You can't affect my now. And fortunately, through practicing martial arts for a very long time, unless you're also training every day, I doubt very seriously that you could cause me physical harm. I can tell by the person's lack of breath control whether they're trained or whether they're not. I just relax. I just feel great. So, here's the thing. I was just going to ask why question. People do things I have trouble understanding. Well, no, Sarah. I mean, asking why, that's just, we want to know why. We want to know how. That's okay. That's not information becoming toxic, because you want that information to serve you. Some of the things the trolls ask, that's just toxic bullshit. They're just, if that's what they need for entertainment, then, I'm not their judge. I don't exist that way because I find it to be limiting, debilitating, and just gross. I don't want to exist that way. So what do? I maximize my own experience. How do I do that? By being firmly rooted in the infinite now, by connecting to my body. My foot right now is grappling and gripping the ground with my big toe. I maintain a connection. I invented an entire meditative technique called fox walking, so that when I walk, I can apply mindfulness and meditation as I do it. No, Eric, that's all an illusion. There's no such thing as having power over another person. That's all an illusion. That's abstract at best. When we think that we have power over another person, we've clinged to the illusion. When we think that a person has power over us, we've clung to the illusion. You can't do anything to me, even with a gun to my head. I don't cling even to my own life. So some people like to cling to the illusion of having power over another person. I don't cling to any illusions. There is no illusion that I'm going to cling to. So what do? I become firmly rooted in the present moment. If you ever want to experience God, you have to experience God in the present moment. That's the only time that you can do it, because it's the only time that exists. It's the only time that's real. So I just follow these simple principles. In principle, there's always going to be somebody who thinks they know more. In principle, there's always going to be somebody who says you're doing it wrong. In principle, there's always going to be somebody who tells you what you need. That's cool. You're just meeting expected behavior, you know? Somebody who's an asshole every day, well, they've accumulated skill. It's the accumulation principle, the snowball effect. They've accumulated the skill of being a dick. And they get pretty darn good at it, don't they? Well, of course. You get best at what you practice most. Everybody is subject to that because it's a law. I work with the laws of the universe, not against them. So when a douchebag, somebody comes in and they're acting like a douchebag, or they're acting like a dick, or they're trying to be difficult, they're just meeting expected behavior. Why would that bother me? There's 7 billion people on the planet. Surely one of them is going to hop into my Facebook Live and just say some dumb shit. That's just meeting expected behavior. Why would I allow that to take me off of my game? So there is this idea that everything that's happening in our experience has somehow been attracted. Well, we live in a co-created universe, right? We live in an intricate web of interconnectedness. It's called causality. We're co-creators in this universe. So everything that's happening in front of me isn't necessarily a manifestation of my mind. How I interact with it, how I react to it, of course, is an indication of my level of consciousness, of what's going on inside my mind. But we're co-creators. So the tsunami that killed 200,000 people, no, I do not believe that that was a shared attraction. That's absurd. I don't buy into that at all. Probability. So moving right along, I'm about to end this broadcast because it's getting a little bit late. It's 5 a.m. and I've gone on long enough. So I know that there are some people out there that are picking up these nuggets, because I'm just describing universal law. If anybody's being an asshole, they're being an asshole now. Anybody whose thought process, they're into their thinking mind of the past or the future, they're only doing it now. You cannot escape the present moment no matter how hard you try. So instead, I just tune into it. I connect to it. I become firmly rooted into it. And from that, I gain an unimaginable amount of personal power. I gain an unimaginable amount of energy. And guess what? I don't get sick. I'm strong. I move quickly. I have balance. I always breathe good. It's not a problem for me, because I just apply these little principles. I just gravitate around the nuggets. And it's easy. It all falls into place. I don't react to people when they're acting unconsciously, because everything is just a reflection of your internal thought processes. It's just a reflection of your internal state of mind. And guess what I give off most often? Love, peace, joy. Apply the principles. Every moment. If somebody tells you that you can't apply the principle in every moment, ask them why not. If somebody tells you that you can't feel glorious in every moment, ask them why not. If somebody tells you that you can't achieve perfect health, ask them why not. If somebody tells you that you can't, ... ask them why not. I am the I am. I will write my own story. I am a creator. I've created the situation in my life, traveling around, enjoying nature, enjoying, the family members that I meet. No, I'm not a victim of circumstance. I'm exactly where I am because my choices have placed me here. The more I'm aware of my choices, the more I become strategic. The more I have strategically placed myself here. There's no coincidence. So we start changing our story. We start using different words to describe our reality. We start looking at these little principles that we can apply rather than just going from one extreme to the other. The person who didn't give a damn about their food, and now they're stuck in this other extreme where they're preaching to everybody they meet about how they eat. They've gone from one extreme to the other. I don't do that. I follow the middle road. I tend to my own garden. I perfect my own reality. I perfect everything that I am interacting with because that's what I have choice over. What is the result? I am perfectly healthy. I run like the wind. I feel strong every day. I wake up, I get out of bed, click my heels, and I'm off. What mountain am I going to climb today? What forest am I going to discover today? What flowers am I going to see today? And then I follow the principles. I'm hungry. I'm just going to eat as close to the sun as possible. Processed food, it's looking a little gray, right? There's not a lot of sunlight energy in that. So in this moment, I'm going to choose not to have that. In this moment, I'm going to choose to eat sunlight, plants, vegetables. If I want meat, I'll eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian. If I want milk, I'll drink milk. I'm not vegan. I don't attach to labels. I am all of this, and yet none of it. I am the I am. I am Tao. I am a master of the universe, just like you are. I am my own guru, just like you are. I have nothing to sell. I'm not reaching into anybody's pockets. I'm just sharing this information because it makes me feel fantastic to share. Everybody likes sharing what works for them, of course. But we still get to do this in our own unique way. Bingo. So, for some of my martial arts friends in here, a lot of the martial arts teachers just want to create carbon copies of themselves. They want their student to be identical to the teacher. Well, there's no art in that. There's no individuality in that. So these are just blueprints, right? It's just a way that we know we can guarantee success by working with the universe and the laws rather than against it. I'm not going to work against the present moment. I'm going to work with it. I'm not going to work against momentum. I'm going to work with it. Do you see? I'm not going to work against my mind. I'm going to work with it. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to roll with it. I'm not trying to judge anybody else's experience. I'm just trying to share what's worked for me. Excuse me, I'm not trying. I'm just sharing what's worked for me. I'm even catching my own language of control. Try. That's a powerless word. Try. So I hope this is clear. If not, I can continue to elucidate. I don't go from one extreme to the other. There are principles and laws of the universe. In principle, I'm here to do no harm. I never want to intentionally try to cause another person psychological suffering. I don't ever want to bring another person down. I don't ever want to talk negatively about another person, because I don't generate any sense of self from that, because that's an illusion I choose not to cling to. I can never build myself up by bringing somebody down. That's just an illusion. That doesn't hold. Elucidate. So the only source of energy, the only source of power is right here in this moment. Where is your mind right now? Is it stuck in habitual thinking, words in your mind that don't serve you? Here we go again. My mind is telling me a story that doesn't serve me. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm bored. I've upset that setup. It's a trap. And I'm not participating anymore. I've been out of this now for about 9 years, 10 years. I've been fully off of that rodeo. It's a roller coaster that I don't enjoy. And it doesn't serve me. So I just don't participate. I stick to my own garden. I perfect myself. There are moments of no mind that are highly enlightening, but there are moments of mind that are highly enlightening. Again, that's going from one extreme to another. So some people are in this habitual thought process, and they think that the only way to nirvana is to have the exact and equal opposite of that, which is no mind. I'm not going to do that. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. My mind is beautiful. My mind is glorious. My mind is exciting and full of adventure because I'm maximizing my experience. I am in alignment with my own desire. I am in alignment with what I want out of life, which is quality. If I buy a car, I want it to be quality. If I have a cup of soup, I want it to be quality. If I have interaction with other human beings, I want it to be a quality interaction. If I drink a glass of wine, I want it to be a quality glass of wine. When making love, when interacting with another human being in an intimate way, you want it to be a quality interaction. We're all seeking the same thing. We just want quality. Some people are hopelessly lost in how to achieve that, which is why they're biting their own teeth, chasing their own tail, woefully unhealthy. What do they have to offer me? I just need one or two principles. Being firmly rooted in the present moment is one of them. Not having any limited belief is another one. Good morning, JC. I'm just about to end this broadcast, so you're tuning in at the tail end, but of course watch the replay. So, announcements for anybody who's following me. Warrior in the Garden group. This is a group that we've created, and it's about taking responsibility. I take personal responsibility for my time here on earth, and I take personal responsibility for tending to my own garden. So you're welcome to join our group. If you're a Facebook friend of mine, I'm probably just going to add you anyway. So we also do dedicated segments, and it's just like this Facebook Live, except for it's a dedicated topic. Monday and Tuesday I won't be here. I'm traveling, so no Facebook Lives, no free classes. I'm giving away 8 hours of free classes a week. I'm just giving this shit away. You can have it. Does it serve you good? Does it serve you good? Does it serve you good? I'm not reaching in anybody's pockets. I have money. I am thinking about reinstating my one-on-ones. There's a lot of people who are asking me again for the one-on-one. How cool, off topic, but you just mentioned car. I'm outside just looking at my car and a little pheasant tried to fly up it. He slipped off. Frosty. I have a car, but I'm not trapped by my car. I enjoy it. It gets me good gas mileage. But it's just a thing. Space junk could fall from the sky and I will have no emotional response. If it falls on my car, I'll just be like, well, shit. How am I getting home on Monday? There's very little that affects me on a psychological level, if anything at all. Especially a troll. It's actually just enriched my experience, oddly enough. I found it fun and interesting. I upset the setup. I'm done living in this shared illusion. I am the creator of my universe, and so are you. So Warrior in the Garden group is just a bunch of people who have taken responsibility for their time here on earth. I take responsibility for my mind. I take responsibility for my energy. I take responsibility for my body. I take responsibility for my satisfaction in the present moment. Taking responsibility for your own time here on earth is a very powerful statement. Right here, right now. we can cross the divide. The sage remains below the people to help lift them up. We all help each other because we're inspirations to one another. I'm constantly being inspired by people, and that leads to motivation. You can't motivate another person, but you can inspire them, and then they get motivated themselves. So there's a lot of people out there that are inspiring me all the time. They're sending me messages. Ernest, this shit's working. Checking into my present moment's working. I feel satisfaction in that moment. When I take that deep breath from the Dantian and I'm just... I feel fantastic. Thank you, Ernest. It's working. I feel inspired by that. I feel motivated by that. Yeah, maybe look again, Pauline. I am offering it's a webinar, and it's not this Sunday, but next Sunday, and it's on control drama. So that's going to be one that really starts to get into the construct that we've created, this social construct that has been built, that is essentially being focused around control. It's coming from a place of control. So do I believe in God? So you don't believe in God. My belief is my belief. I'm going to tend to my garden. You can believe what you believe. There's no absolute value to belief. So I feel no need to share that. I feel no need to inflict that on another person. My belief is my belief. And I don't cling to it. I don't attach to it. I don't force it on another person. You can't take it away from me. You can't add anything to it. So my belief is my belief. So there's certain things that are just disadvantageous to share because I'm not trying to create, followers. I don't want people following me. I don't want people imitating the things that I do necessarily. I'm just pointing out facts. The fact is, if you want to experience God, you can only do it now, in this moment. Here, now. If you want to observe God, watch the sunrise every morning. If you want to feel the glory of God, observe nature in the present moment, right here, right now. So your individual belief is quite frankly irrelevant to me, because I don't attach to my own beliefs, and I don't recommend that you do the same. You don't have to attach to your belief. My mind is like bamboo. I bend, but I do not break. And so I'm simply not going to try to inflict my beliefs on another person. So there's certain questions that I just don't see the power in them. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. And I thank you guys for joining me. I will probably, tomorrow is Sunday, so I'll be doing another Facebook Live. I've been doing them just about every day because they're easy to do. Right here, right now. I remember when U2, they gave away an album, and people got angry because the U2 album was just instantly on their iTunes. Wasn't that funny? They tried to give something away and just put it in people's pockets, and people still found a way to be angry about that. How often do you think I'm angry? How often do you think I'm frustrated with life? How often do you think I feel anything except for absolutely magnificent? You can too. We'll just learn how to work with it rather than against it. So also there's no classes today. Today's my day off, so I'm probably going to go to the beach like I did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that and the day before that and the day before that. And then eventually I'll be back up in the mountains later next week. Life at 13,000 feet, you can't beat it. I'm doing research into the meditative state at high altitudes because I believe it helps. There's something going on. There's a reason that the sages retreated into the high altitudes. I think I'm onto something. That's how I have fun. That's how I play with my experience. So enjoy your life. Not just bits and pieces of it, not just moments. The fuck is that? Moments. That's abstract as all hell. There's no moments. There's just the moment. You're either tuned in, loving it, or you're not. That's binary. That's just a decision. That's not even choice. Alright, so you guys are welcome. Thank you for tuning in. You can follow me on Facebook if you like this type of stuff. And it's all for free. I'm just giving it away. I do offer a webinar. It's $5 per person. I do have a subscription that is a small monthly subscription to help pay for the website and the space necessary to upload videos. Because I don't put my classes online. I don't put them on YouTube. So if people want to watch the replay of my classes, then it's just a very small subscription base. About the price of 2 cups of coffee. So. But in a week, I'm giving away about 20 to 25 hours. And when I do my one-on-one sessions, then it increases. So I was up to about 40 hours of volunteer time in a week. I've scaled that back just a little bit, but I'm still here. You know, my website, elegantcrane.com, my Facebook Live videos have been uploaded to that, all free. My YouTube channel, that's got at least like 30 hours of information on it. Because as you've noticed, my Facebook Lives tend to go a little bit long. I just have so much to share. So yeah, there's lots of ways to follow me. There's lots of ways to get involved. There's lots of ways to ask questions. There's lots of ways to inspire other people with what's working for you. We're stronger together. I can easily take one stick and break it. You put 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 sticks together. You can't do it anymore. So feel glorious. Go with the flow of life. Connect to the moment, right here, right now. Yep, elegantcrane.com. Elegant Crane was my Chinese name that was given to me by my teacher in my class. It's elegant or unhurried crane, her. I'm probably not pronouncing it very well. Her. I know there's a ch in it. Her. And I thought elegant was a better website name than unhurried. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time. I have a Facebook Live coming tomorrow. What will be the topic? I have no idea. I just roll with it. If you want to know more about my mind, watch the movie Phenomenon by John Travolta. It is my favorite movie. It's #1. Very little special effects. Nothing explodes. There's no gunplay. It's a love story. Alright, so I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for inventing Facebook, so now I have a place to share my mind. Put my art in the sand, knowing that the tide is going to wash it all away. That's okay. I'm usually up really early, so I'm doing my lives in between 4 and 5 a.m. Central Time, Chicago. And that will probably remain consistent. And then in the Warrior in the Garden group, I do the Facebook Lives at 6 a.m., starting on Wednesday. So I'm doing just very focused Facebook Lives in this group, exclusive content to that group, to avoid some of the people popping in and not necessarily contributing to the conversation. Having a closed group helps with that a little bit. Because it causes nothing in me, but I can't say that for other people. So I don't want people detracting from what other people are trying to learn. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the moment. And if somebody tells you that you can't feel glorious in every single moment of your life, why? Would professor suit me? No, I don't need any titles. I'm on par with everybody else here. The only time that I'm enlightened is when I'm in this moment. So I'm not better. I don't need a title. I'm not a professor. I'm not a master. Teacher is the only thing that I'm okay with. because we're all teachers. We're all inspirations to one another. So you guys are my teacher. Nature is my teacher. But I'm not a guru. I'm not a coach. I'm not a master. I'm not a professor. None of that. If anything, I'm just an orator. I can explain things in a very clear and understandable way. So if I have any skill, that's it. All right. So I'll see you guys next time.